And this one is a 4X game based on the video game with the same name. I haven't played the video game and I actually haven't heard about the video game before I heard about this board game, but I do want to say that this board game does look like a lot of fun. It looks like a 4X game that I would really enjoy. And this is a game where the winner is the one with the most victory points. And there's multiple ways that you can try to accomplish this, and you can choose to specialize in different areas or gain points from all these different options. But you can either build up your population, build or acquire different buildings and control them, upgrade your tech trees, control different systems, complete different missions, and try not to lose victory points from unrest within your population. Players are going to be playing as different factions, each with their own game-breaking special abilities, as well as their own personal player board that is also unique to them, with a different upgrade tree and different paths that you can take that will allow you to be more proficient in certain areas than others at the start of the game. The game also has a few different ways that it can come to an end. Either a player controls an opponent's system for long enough, or they control the Orion system for long enough, which is the last system that you're going to be discovering while exploring the board, or if a player is able to build a certain building and protect that building long enough. If none of those things happen, the game still will come to an end after 6 to 8 rounds, depending on the length of game that you decided to play. But one of the big reasons that I find this game so interesting is because this one looks like it's going to be offering a ton of variability, and part of that comes with the different factions you can choose, as well as the variability in the map as you're exploring the different regions and drawing different tiles and cards. But what really makes this one stand out is that you are able to manipulate your character so much as you play the game. You're going to be acquiring new cards that you can either add to your hand or add in front of you as a permanent ability. So your character is going to be constantly changing as you play the game, which can constantly change your strategy depending on what you choose to do. And that in itself is going to make every game feel so much different from each other, even if you do choose to play the same faction over again. But the way that you do play this game is that each round you're going to be choosing a card from your hand in order to take an action. And what's really cool about these cards is that each one can actually have multiple options for you to choose from, and you're just going to be choosing one of those options. And you can also spend credits in order to upgrade almost any action that you can take. And you're going to start with some basic cards that grant you access to those core actions in the game, like moving your ships around out on the board. And the way that this works is they're going to be moving up to your speed, and you can move through any discovered spaces. But if you move into an undiscovered space, you're going to stop there and then draw a tile randomly from a stack, which can reveal different locations, planets, or anomalies, which can grant you with all sorts of different options. There's also actions that allow you to build mines in order to gather resources, or even spend those resources in order to build buildings or increase your population. And when you do choose to increase your population, you have a few different types of specialties that you can improve, and each of those are going to be improving their related actions. Of course, you can also use actions to upgrade your tech tree to unlock new abilities and special effects, or you can build your diplomacy, which allows you more leeway with the space councils, allowing you with special privileges. But of course, there is also actions to attack other NPC characters that you find out on the board, or even attack the other players. The way that this works is that you're going to be rolling dice and then assigning them to your different weapons out on your ships, and those weapons can also be upgraded in order to have even more devastating attacks. But what's also really cool about these cards is that at the start of each round, you're actually going to be going through a drafting phase and adding a new card into your hand. These cards are known as technology cards, and they're a little bit different than the basic cards that you start with because they will have a special ability associated with them, and you can use it as an action in order to use that effect. But each of these cards also come with a requirement on them, and if you're able to meet that requirement, you can actually use an action to deploy that card in front of you as a permanent upgrade to your character, mixing in all sorts of new special abilities that are not normally native to your faction. But the game continues like this until one of the players is able to trigger one of those endgame conditions, and then after players have resolved that final round, you're going to be adding up your victory points from the different sources and upgrades that you've made throughout the game, and the player with the most victory points wins. And if you do want to check this one out, I will have it linked in the description down below.